Welcome back, everybody, to the Rusty Tub. I'm here with Oblivion today, although you might not see him because we're having a computer failure problem. Oblivion is somebody I've been playing. Yep, I've been playing games with for a few years now. We're still doing Sea of Thieves right now. They're doing Lotro 2. We are all active in Discord. He's not in here because the computer's being an issue. So I'm going to be screen sharing with him, and we're going to go through this material and see what it was like. So, Tony, why did you pick the place that you moved to? And what was it like digging into the side of a mountain like you were a dwarf?
Oh man, this is reminding me of like the diggy hole. Well, I think for starters, was I the only person that spawned underwater, or did everybody spawn?
I was just asking other people that, and I think you were, and I was trying to remember who actually drowned to death on their first day.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was either. If it was C Game or if it was someone else.
But
yeah. I think I remember like loading in, and I was like reading a guide, and when I got back to the game, I had like maybe like just a couple like hearts of health left, a little bit of health. Yeah, so I like just desperately swam, and then as soon as I got to the shore, it turned to night too. So
awful! Can't say anything. Great first
night,
first time on an expert pack, and you don't have any modded Minecraft experience up to this point.
Yeah, I was having a great time.
I see you trying to log in again.
Somehow I didn't die.
Yeah.
Somehow I didn't die miraculously. I think I just like tried to collect wood as quickly as I can. Did the whole like
punching trees.
Basic survival.
Yeah.
And built like the tiniest little hut around myself that I could, and like slowly expanded it to a moderately tiny hut.
Is that what I'm looking at right now?
Let me see.
This small thing with the staircase going down?
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, wonderful.
I did get back. Oh, man.
Oh, there's a zombie.
Man. Maybe not. Getting attacked. Lag real.
You're good. I killed him. All right, we can stay inside now.
Cool. Yeah, so originally my hut was like about half this size.
Gotcha.
And moving around, basically I always tried to like improve the thing at night. And then I heard you guys talking about how... Did
you literally build a hut on a tree?
Yeah.
That's your actual...
Well, because there was that joke about, like, that they would go into, like, the newer player area and they see a bunch of, like, the...
Deadheads? Yes. God, that made me so mad.
So I was like, okay, why don't I take that joke one step further, and this being my first house, I'll make my house under a deadhead.
Fucking A, man. Yeah.
So that was intentional. It's kind of got a nice like skylight type of.
Yeah, I totally dig it, man.
The property value.
It looks great.
So, yeah, you can tell everything's like clustered here because this was me just like desperately trying to figure out how the mod actually worked. And yeah,
wow, that I never knew about this. Some of the blocks that you're using here, like this wooden barrel that's storing creosote, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Different things. Okay, let's see.
The million chests around here because I'm a pack rat.
I didn't realize how far you progressed without having any experience. I don't remember you asking for any hand holding or anything like that. You've got...
Yeah, I pretty much just went after it all on my own. I didn't, for the most part, didn't even really use guides until it got a little bit more complicated. But
that's excellent. I like that ingenuity. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Your finger.
Touch it, is what you said.
Can you drop that thing that I gave you while you're here? Let me give you your jetpack back.
Yeah. Probably a good idea.
The freak nasty, thanks. Appreciate it.
So I'm going to point at everything in my house.
So I don't necessarily want to see like block by block, but mostly like stages of development. Like this smeltery, that's a big stage of development. This coke oven and things like that.
One of the first things I built, like most people, right? And originally I was gonna expand my house, but I decided, go full dwarf and dig down.
Yeah.
And then this room was probably just large enough to fit this furnace over here.
Yeah.
Or not furnace? What was this thing
smeltery?
Called again?
Yep.
I forget. Smeltery. Yeah, it was just probably large enough to fit that, and like maybe the chest behind it, basically. And
I like the aesthetic that you have here with this these dirt blocks. And this is the, there's a little story about this particular XP tank, eh?
Yeah, there was. It's funny, like I don't know at what point this door came up, but it kind of had something to do with, like, I think my original area that I had, like, protected or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think actually it's still, it ends right here. If you walk forward, you can see it goes through wilderness, like.
Oh, that's right. Oh, right, because you had locked down your chunks.
They came in. Yeah, I don't think, like, any of my stuff was, like, protected or anything, and, our younger friends on the server came in and took a bunch of stuff out there, and I left it here, as a monument.
But it was
In
all
all
good.
honesty,
At first there was a lot of outrage, but it was all good too. And I think there was a, I think one day when I was trying to figure out how they got in here, I think that there is there's an access port into your winding cave network that you can actually just walk in here somehow.
yeah. Well, this whole thing with the wire going through it is, the rest of my base we'll probably get to in a second. But
Hmm.
that none of that originally existed. It used to just
Oh,
be
okay,
this
okay,
door.
okay, okay, okay.
And there's a tree out here that like you can basically walk down, and it looks very much like the entrance
This
to
is
a
it.
dungeon.
Oh,
So
you're right.
that's
You're right.
probably like they got down here, and then as soon as they got to this like really straight hallway, it
Yeah.
probably became somewhat more obvious. But
Well, this
you
is
know,
interesting.
in the end, totally not that big of a deal. Honestly,
Sure.
when you told me about it, I didn't even notice that they had taken anything until
Oh,
until you
yeah,
brought it
yeah.
up, and I was like, oh, it's not that big a deal. And then
Right.
this whole XP tank was full of stuff too, and I think they cleared that out too. But
Yeah.
um,
Somehow
I
he
think I
got
filled it
like
up at various
three
points. So.
hundred levels or something, and then lost them all, or something like that. Crazy.
Yeah, or isn't it like the XP stuff only matters when you get to like Thaumcraft or something, or how does
Yeah,
that work?
some of the later game stuff when you start enchanting
Yeah.
and stuff like
See, I
that.
never even got to Thaumcraft, although I do have this witch's hand, so
Yeah, the finger.
makes
Ugh,
me a
ugh, so
novice.
gross. So you took a dive
So
into
yeah,
the early
eventually
tech.
like
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Um, this furnace came along at some point. I don't even think for the longest time I even had the hoppers going on or this thing. I think for some reason, being the pack rat, I definitely like didn't want to throw any creosote away.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure in one of these things here, yeah, I've got like 19 barrels full of like creosote.
Wow.
So it was a lot of my day to day was just
And you
making these
burned
barrels.
solid fuel to make power, and you used these insulated copper power cables to power some of your machines. So
Yeah,
where's
yeah.
your
Originally everything was powered by like a steam engine down there, but I eventually took that out.
where do these cables run to?
Well, so they run across like obviously all the things that are up there,
Hmm. Oh,
but then they
wow.
also
Oh, okay,
run
cool.
down to this thing, and I think for some reason I never really figured out like this electric heat generator thing, or I was trying to read something about like maybe it was the induction furnace, I can't remember, but it's
Yeah.
like when it's running, you don't want it connected, you want a switch going to it, and honestly, before I figured that out, I got the whole renewable power thing going on with these
Right.
wires. Um,
Right.
so yeah, that just resolved that whole problem, and I kind of abandoned that
So
project.
cool that you got into immersive engineering and you figured out these cables and all this stuff
Yeah,
without any guidance at
this
all.
is my junk smasher thing. If you want,
You junk.
I get stuck on that thing.
That's so
Lay
funny.
down.
I think you could have taken one of these conveyor belts off and just threw your stuff on there, but that's not
Yeah,
as fun.
yeah, probably. I think I kept throwing at it, and it like just wasn't hitting all the time.
Oh,
So
sure. Sure.
because
And then
I'm
there's
easily
this
frustrated, I think.
staircase up in here into it makes me think there's
Yeah,
something going on
well,
there.
it originally used to be like a steam engine or whatever that thing is.
It's
So
so
it
funny
was
looking.
pouring
You look
water
like you're in
in.
a fortress of sorts right now.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah, it used to be like a steam engine. This I have to go up here to like reach the lever to turn it on. So that's what I
Oh,
built
okay.
that for. And then the
Oh,
lever was
okay.
also accessible from the top level. So if I wanted to warm it up, I would like hit the lever in the floor by the time I needed to go down there and
Very
actually,
cool.
turn the things into other things, right?
Mm-hmm. So you mostly focused on, you got a pulverizer there, nice. You mostly focused on the tech trees, which I think is the right way to start every mod pack because the tech trees get you access to resources which you can use to power through your magic mods. It's almost tragic
Mm-hmm.
in a way because the magic mods are so interesting, but it's almost always best to start with tech.
Yeah, yeah. You just like need that
Yeah,
um, resource eventually, right?
exactly, yeah.
So yeah, I think I went overboard with the lasers here. I think there's probably poured quite a. Don't you need like diamonds to make these, if I remember
Yes.
correctly,
However, I
or
think they
something
get
like that?
made in sets of 6 anyways, so
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I used the majority of them
mhm.
to make lasers, but
And you're powering them
yeah,
up
at
with
a
a lot of
certain
these
point,
survivalist generators.
yep, that was before I got the renewable thing going on. I just like didn't want to wait for them to like make the energy that I needed, so
Explain
and
to me
so
this
lots of
this cable network that you've got going
yeah.
on.
So that was like an afterthought. The base didn't originally have that, which is why I'm like cutting through the wall type of
Yeah.
thing there. But if we follow it all the way out, I mean this. I mean we should probably yeah. Well, I'll show you the other thing afterwards. But if you follow it all the way out, it goes. Oh man, get
You
stuck.
can probably put your jetpack on back if you need it.
Yeah. Well, given
Oh,
that I
I
didn't
see.
have a powered jetpack, I always made a way to like,
Oh,
manually
yeah. Yeah. I see some cables going back there.
power
Okay.
through it. So this is my hydroelectric,
This is my
which
favorite thing that you've made. It looks so good, dude. It reminded me of like something in Tolkien's work where you could
right.
have like super built up the left and the right and made like statues to the kings of Numenor or something like that. Like,
Yeah, this little bridge here. I kind of wanted to like build water wheels all the way up it and go like full Isengard too,
yeah. Oh
as,
man.
as the dwarves get ready to go into space.
Yes.
A lot of those
I
things didn't
love
make
this aesthetic so
contact with
much.
there. Yeah, and so like this honestly took a little while to get going. How it started though, it's funny. Like my very first project ever was actually like over here, and just randomly, like after I got my house built, I really wanted to get to the top of this cliff, and I didn't want to like have to find a new way up there every time or make a path that was kind of like
Hmm.
jank. So I built this little bridge here to start, and then I made this giant staircase to the top, and this probably took like the majority of one night that I was playing, like to get
Right,
this
right,
up.
because you don't have a hammer or anything like that. You're
Yeah, I
doing
just
each
had like
block.
noob tools, and I was like, okay, I just want to get up there.
And it
So
looks nice, man. The stairs and the
yeah,
yeah. And you know the first
what's
thing that I
funny is,
saw up here was
uh,
Lottie looked for 3 days for one
for
of
those
these
flowers.
Daybloom Primuses. And you had a whole batch of them right here, and he was so jealous.
Yeah,
I was
just
jealous too,
funny
though.
because anybody would come by and took this. Oh, look, my thing
Crashed.
crashed again. I
Yeah,
guess
if
I'll
you could
go
just
back
swap
to.
over to the Discord and then while you try to log back in. Yeah, and you can't move those, and they're and all of the basic mana generating flowers they all decayed. So these were like a big jackpot. Very cool. Are you still there, sir?
Sorry, yeah, I
No,
was
no
bugging
problem.
out
No problem.
Discord for a moment. Um, but yeah, so anyway, if you're up there, over to the left, that waterfall wasn't originally there. It was just a giant cliff. And so when I started to like learn how the water worked a little bit more, I was like, oh, well, this like there was a little bit of a lake up there,
I
so I just
see it.
kind of dug it out, yeah, and let it around so that it did create that big waterfall. And honestly, I had to like start and stop it a lot of different times to get it to really cover that entire cliffside.
Yeah.
First couple of times it was kind of stubborn and only went down in like a tiny stream. So
Right, 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 right.
yeah,
You
to
need to
get
get
like
it
the full
spread.
spread for the water
Hmm.
wheels and get that magnificent looking thing when you come out that
It
door down
looks
there. It took a little
beautiful,
bit of
dude.
engineering.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah,
beautiful.
I like definitely didn't want like everything to be like obviously built. I wanted some of it to look natural. So that
Yeah.
was kind of what I was going for there.
Yeah, I always cave into my min maxing thing, so my water wheels never looked this good. And the symmetry that you have here in this little valley, man, it's just you really scored. It's my favorite project I think that I've seen you work on.
Yeah. Eventually, I was going to do something with the farm there outside the front of my house, but I never really got that going. All
Right. I
those
think that
little
was
dug
perhaps one of the
ditches
very
there.
last things that you did, looking for food or something like that.
Yeah. And then those berry bushes there, it's funny. Those have
Hmm.
been there for a really long time. That was actually one of the things that the younger kids we had on the server were like, sorry, we took all your berries. And I'm
Ah!
like, you didn't take any of the bushes. So I'm like, I think you're fine. They're outside
What's
there
so
for
funny
everyone,
too
right?
is they could have just chopped the top layer off and took them to their base, and you would have grown new ones, new
Right.
bushes. You
Yeah,
know. Yeah. Yeah. The berries,
absolutely.
they're annoying to eat, but they are a great source of food.
Yeah, and they replenish like super
Hmm.
fast too.
Hmm.
So
So,
yeah, I like got that.
yep. Wow, lots and lots of mining that you've done. Holy cows.
Yeah, that's a pack rat thing. I never
Hmm.
throw anything away.
I
I didn't
think I
have any like machines mining for me necessarily, but
right. I think I remember. Okay, so those water wheels they do run into your base, and that's what's wired up all over the place here. Very cool.
yep. Yeah, I think there's like a what do you call that? Like a millivolt capacitor there or something
Yep.
like that, or I can't remember.
Yep. Those. Yep.
Um,
No, you got it right.
but it's all charged up.
I think it's a medium voltage. They have the HV and the
Yeah,
LV and
yeah,
stuff like that. Did you
makes
have any
sense.
other major projects? We've talked about some of your electrical stuff. We talked about. I think. Let's see. How would I say? I think Hire stopped at the end of the mid
The
game.
highway, right?
That's right. The highway. Where is that located in your base?
Yeah, if you go like left out the door, so if you get to the front door and you just go left there, I think it might be a little obscured by all those trees that I planted back there, but it's a little bit more left. that actually goes down into like a dungeon. That was a natural dungeon that was there. So
Mm,
kind of go back towards my house a little
yeah,
ways,
sure. I'm at
and
the
then a little
door.
bit on the right here, like the right to the right through those trees.
Let's see here. There it is.
Yeah, there you go. You found it.
Perfect. Yeah. So then this was the. I remember you guys were underneath the dripping water of the ocean. Locke had just finished his thing, and I came in here and I saw this huge network that you had made. I thought it was really cool. I was thinking about linking up mine too. I never did.
Yep,
Um,
and then we spent a day putting all like the redstone torches there and like
yep.
setting it up so it would go all the way through.
And it
And
does.
then I trolled the shit out of him by putting a bucket of water halfway through
Oh
his
no!
hands.
When Kyra and I took this rail, we actually bumped into some carts that were left on the track months and months and months ago.
That's funny.
Like that, you know, like oh that's gonna go all the way. Well, it'll go all the way until
I
it's
think so.
maybe. Am I missing any of the significant builds that you've done?
Well, so that forest goes, or sorry, that highway, like you see that big arrow on the
Yeah,
bottom.
I just
That was
noticed it. He
really
mentioned it before, and I didn't notice it before, but I see it now.
it's funny. It's not obviously really looking like an arrow, but that highway underground there, if you take it to the left, goes all the way to the magical forest. That's like way, I forget what direction. So this one goes, I think if you go right, that goes to Lottie's base, right?
And if I go this way, it goes to the.
Yeah, and it honestly, it might even be further
The first time
going
I
this
saw
way.
these stairs when I was exploring this, I
Yeah.
thought that this was going to be a depot station.
Oh,
I thought you
really?
guys were going to make like an underground subway system, and that you were going to have a depot station here with some
That would have
sandwiches or
been
something.
really cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it
Maybe the
could have
next
been
time.
definitely a part of.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, it might even go for. This is after I got a hammer that I started building this. So
Oh right.
now I was like ready to go. But yeah, I think this is honestly further down this path
Wow.
than it is elsewhere. But I
Sure.
might go left there up the stairs. But yeah, it leads out to a magical forest, and that way I had a quick path between there. It's funny. I think I built that to go get like leather from cows. There was like a lot of
Yeah.
cows in the magical forest, and then when I went back there, someone had to like come through and wipe them out. They were like
Yeah,
extinct.
or maybe they
So,
despawn or something like that.
yeah, it could be.
I did notice that I was looking for some abyssal stone a long way back, and I think I came across a node that you had mined out, but I came from the top down, and that's how I found this network. Was
Oh yeah.
like going through these creepy colonies. It might have been Derm. I think we talked about it. Might have been Derm, but I thought it was you for sure. Okay, let's see.
Huh. Yeah, I don't think I got to the point of Abyssal Stone, but if you ran into that network that we built there, then
Yeah,
yeah, I think the highways were a good idea. I feel like I've done that
totally agree.
at least like in your area before.
Okay, so before we get
But
into the
yeah,
recap, are there any other projects that you wanted to share? Because what I wanted to do
no,
was kind of
honestly, I
feature some
think
of the work that
like
you've done on here.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think honestly at this point, like everything was just an idea.
Hmm.
But I think for the most part, I was still just trying to figure out how everything worked. Um,
Yeah,
you know, to the point you were making earlier that, trying to do it with like the work hours I was putting in, it just
yeah,
didn't pan out. I think I was like mostly just trying to catch up
right,
in understanding, not even necessarily like building or projects. But
yeah,
um, yeah, I think like that pretty much covers everything that was in the base as far as like ideas go. To your point, like maybe building out that network below. I feel like the rail carts were very much like a minimalist way
yeah.
of doing it. It's like one step up from walking,
But it was a
essentially.
fun
But
thing to do, and you guys had a great time that night for sure.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Plus, we got to do the whole like Command Bros theme of like
Yes,
our bases are linked.
yeah. Yeah, it's man. Overall, like I love the aesthetics that you did on the outside. Your projects were so big in scope, and that's one of the things that I love about this game is that you
Yeah,
can get
yeah,
that, and it's almost as much fun thinking about it and planning it out in your head as it is going through and getting it done. You know, the middle part in there
definitely.
sometimes can feel rather tedious, but
Yeah,
it's
I
really
think if
cool.
I did it again, like the jetpack going on and everything, I might want to do like some kind of like a sky tube
Yeah,
network, like a similar idea, but like glass in the air. So you get
cool.
like
Yeah, that would
this
be
kind
cool.
of like going through it. It'd definitely be longer to build that out, and you need the right tools for it. But
So as your first modded Minecraft experience, you were on a mod, you were on a dang expert pack. What were a couple, two, three things that you thought were really cool about this gaming experience with this community?
so like one thing was that I mean, granted, being a little bit behind everyone, anytime I like needed like a resource and material. For the most part, I try to do it myself, but it was never like the point where it was gonna, you know, bring me to a grinding halt. I think there were like a couple times I borrowed like diamonds from Lottie,
Yeah.
or but I would say like quote unquote borrowed. I don't know if I ever put them back in
Sure, sure,
space.
sure.
Well, honestly, or at least all of them. I think I gave them about half of them back later.
Yeah.
But just things like that, like that didn't hold it up, and everyone was really knowledgeable. I think like to my earlier point, I was trying to do it myself, so I didn't often ask for help quite as soon as I probably needed to.
Yeah.
But no, it was definitely like available there all the time, and I
And
think like you even came around with the Ender Pearls at one point.
yes, I definitely.
Seeds, so.
We had a big project, a big community project where we ended up with a lot of Ender Lily seeds, and those are really a big pain in the butt to get if you have to farm them manually. And so everybody got a stack of that stuff.
For sure, and some of it like early on, you need that for sure. And I think
yes,
that dungeon over there to the right, I think I found like maybe 1 or 2 seeds on my own.
oh, there you go,
But
and that's all you
beyond
need.
that.
Yeah, that's all you
Yeah.
really need to begin with. Yeah, and
Mm.
the one of the points that you make too about having that knowledgeable crew, but then still sticking it out to try to learn on your own, and that's where those innovations come from that are so cool to see. Everybody has
Yeah,
their own unique
absolutely.
way of building, and so if you don't have your hand held, in a sense, the way that you did it, you really maximize your ability to find really novel solutions to old problems that people may not have very efficient ways to do it. It's really cool to see that, and I liked seeing the ways that you had tackled those things. Like you took advantage of IC2 a lot more than anyone else on the server in the early parts of that, and that's just a different way to get into the tech
Really
stuff. That's really cool.
interesting. Yeah, I didn't notice. Like there wasn't a whole lot of like comparing my base to others,
Hmm.
because I think by the time I did that, everyone else's was like more
Yeah.
built out.
Well, I
So I didn't
hope
really
that.
know like what the right path was. I was just
Yeah.
kind of read through that manual and tried to figure it out. I
Certainly.
suppose.
So, what did you appreciate the quest book? Was that helpful for you?
I think so for the most part. I think there was like a couple like almost like blind alleys gonna lead you
Mm-hmm.
into where you're like, all
Mm-hmm.
right, what I do now, or like it
Exactly.
tells you need a resource that's
Yeah.
like 7 levels beyond where you're at the moment.
Yeah. True. Okay.
So
So,
there are a couple like tough hurdles to get over.
yeah. Okay. So, speaking of that, then moving into, if you were ever to play a Minecraft server again, what would be some things that you would want to see improved?
Um, I don't know. It was almost like the speed of it was tough to keep up with. I mean, granted, that's more of like a personal problem,
You mean
but
the
uh,
hour grinds that people were doing that you weren't able to do?
yeah. It
Gotcha.
was like by the time I got back, people are like flying through the air and using jetpacks, and I'm over here trying to get my steam engine to work. It very much felt like
Yeah, I can see
you
how
know
that would be demoralizing. Yeah.
surrealist. Yeah. Well, it was more like just like it's almost like when you're playing Civilization or something, and
Hmm.
like one group is like cavemen fighting with sticks and stones, and the other place is like bombing them with jet engines. It's
Yeah.
not that we were playing against each other, PvP
Right.
or anything like that, but it was that similar
Hmm.
sense of disparity. Of I think like one day, Kyra showed up outside my house with a witch's broomstick or something like that, and
Yes, he's
he
very
didn't
proud
even
of
tell
that.
me he was there. He was just like he just started cackling in a high pitched voice. I was like, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah.
So yeah, there were things like that, but
Hmm.
um, yeah, I don't know. That's like I don't know if that's really an improvement. It's more of just like level setting,
Well, some of the sentiment
how
from the
much
other,
time everyone's.
yep, some of the sentiment from the other ones is that perhaps in the next go round we've done where we've had 5 different bases. We
Mm-hmm.
had some collaboration, like you're saying, which was nice. But maybe next time we do something with an emphasis on a community, in a central hub, and less smaller distant bases. Maybe that would help keep
Yeah,
everybody at the same relative progression.
definitely. I think it definitely like comes down to like how much hours everyone is putting in, and there were
Yeah,
definitely like weeks there where I couldn't log on for like 2 3 weeks straight. So
right.
that's like
And
to the
then
point where I'm just naturally I'm going to be a little bit behind, but
certainly, and then Sea of
it's
Thieves
to the
came
point of
on
like
the.
even if it's like community built out. I mean, I guess maybe the focus next time for me should be not to like do so much in a silo, and now that I know some things, I won't have to like start from ground.
Hmm.
Um, Whereas a lot of it before was like me just learning the basics of the game. Because
Yeah,
at the same time, like when I could walk into like Kyra or Lock Space, they
and
would have
see.
all this stuff, but I didn't know
Yeah,
how to use any of it or like
right.
what was interesting or.
Yeah, they're just wild stuff. I've seen their bases, and there's stuff going on there that's very complex. I totally agree. I
Mhm.
totally agree. That automation. All right, man. So was the experience good enough to consider doing it again?
Yeah, absolutely. I would. I
Very
think it's
good.
like, I think it's definitely something where I'm trying to remember too if I was playing like other games at the time as
Sea of
well
Thieves
when
came
we
on
launched
board
it.
about 4 months into the venture, I think.
Yeah. Right, yeah, and that's like really tough too, is like splitting between games.
Yep.
So it's definitely like a timing thing, but I definitely want to do it again if I have. Because granted, I don't have a lot of time to devote to gaming like in general, but
Yeah,
if I have other games on the table too, I'm trying to play. Then it gets really tough.
for
So,
certain.
yeah, I'm definitely up for doing it again, probably at the right time. You know.
Sounds good, man. All right, well, any last remarks? I'm about to hit the stop button on this recording, and then we'll get these videos cranked out onto YouTube, I think, over the summer.
Um, yeah, nothing's coming to mind.
All right, man. Thanks so much for the interview, and I'm going to jump on and Sea of Thieves with you right now, so I'll see you soon.
See you, Steve's.